soccer ball. Today I'm going to teach you how to lock in and some secrets to 7v7 youth soccer. I've got Skibbity Riz, so let me show you how it's done. These 7 red dots represent what formation we are going to be playing in most of the time. It's important you remember your position and you are aware of your spatial awareness. The right and left center mid can almost imagine an invisible line down the center of the field. Like this. Rarely should the right mid cross over to the left side, and rarely should the left mid cross over to the right side. It's important for our right and left mid to know they control the width of the field. But whenever our team has the ball, the right and left mid should make the field as big as possible by going wide near the line. Like this. It creates more space for us to move the ball. And whenever our team doesn't have the ball, they tuck in and get tight, like this. A hack for the right and left mids is if you have the ball, dribble down the line until you draw a defensive player towards you. Once the opposing player commits to steal the ball from you, you can play the ball into space for your forward or center mid. Like this. In this example, notice 1, we are playing it to the forward, and 2, we are playing the ball into space for the forward to run onto it. Notice that the forward has a defender on them, so we want to play the ball into the space for them to run onto it, not play it at their feet. As you see, the ball was passed into the space, and now the forward can run onto it and score. Now let's talk about the center mid, which is very similar. The center mid controls the entire center of the field. A hack for the center mid is to try and find the gaps in the opposing team's defensive players and pass the ball through those gaps. Let me show you what a gap is. If we take a look, here we can see that the center mid has control of the ball. And if we take a closer look, we can see when we look at the opposing team's line of defense, gaps. We all want to try and play the ball through the gaps into the space for the forward or right and left mid to run onto. So for example, this play, the center mid passes the ball through the gap and the forward runs onto it. Now let's talk about some secrets for the forward. First, the forward should rarely cross the halfway line. A second secret for the forward is, can you guess? Find the gaps so your teammates can play you into the space. Remember, these are gaps. So the forward should be making side-to-side runs to find these gaps. Side-to-side runs look like this, running this way or that way. The reason we want side-to-side runs is so the forward isn't off sides. So the forward decides to run this way, confusing the opposing team's line of defense. The forward is now on this side. The center mid can now pass the ball through the gaps into the space. And boom, the forward now has a 1v1 with the goalie. Now we have our left and right defensive backs. You two should always be aware of each other and mostly cover your side of the field. When one goes to attack the ball, the other one should stay back and cover like this. Rarely should you cross the field's halfway line. You two are defenders, so remember the secret to defending is keeping the player in front of you and no diving. Diving is when you swing at the ball. Once the opposing team makes a mistake, which they are bound to do if you don't dive, then that's your cue to take the ball. A mistake the opposing team could make is kicking the ball too far out in front of them or just kicking the ball right at you. Lastly, we have some secrets for the goalie. When it's a goal kick, you should quickly play the ball wide to our left or right backs or mids. When you have the ball in your hands, you should do the same thing but roll it like a bowling ball. Now that we talked about some secrets to each position, let me remind you on a few things. Not only can each secret to each position help you in other positions, but another secret to all positions is know where you are going to play the ball before you get it. And most of all, have fun and be creative. Don't be so obvious where you're going to play the ball. And remember to always be kind to the players on the field, including yourself.